This is how you invest your earnings back into your beloved franchise to create one of the greatest fighting game experiences and packages known to date. This is Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is the latest installment of the long-running 30-year 3D fighting game franchise known of course as Tekken. While it is not the first 3D fighting game, it is one of the few that has stood the test of time, and where some entries in the series fell short, Tekken 8 definitely delivers. Coming off the high that was Tekken 7, which went on to sell over 10 million units, Tekken 8 was expected to exceed its predecessor in all regards. Unlike its predecessor, Tekken 8 experienced a simultaneously worldwide release. This has recently become a common practice within the fighting game genre by developers due to the suffering of the arcade scene caused naturally over time as gaming has shifted more towards home consoles, but also due to the tragedies befell by the global pandemic. These shutdowns heavily impacted the arcade market and forced developers to look towards different starting avenues to release their products. This ultimately led to Tekken 8 feeling less like an arcade port and more like a full-fledged marketable product worth its asking price. Tekken 8 comes fully fleshed out with an intense story mode continuing directly after the events of Tekken 7, an additional story mode that also acts as a tutorial mode for the game, a robust training room and replay system, along with fun modes like Tekken Ball and arcade mode with secret bosses and endings to discover. But let's take it one step at a time here, starting with the story mode. Without any spoilers in this review, the story mode is a roughly 3 to 4 hour experience where you follow the events of Jin Kazama fronting his father Kazuya Mishima, as the story trailers would say it, for the last time. The story itself is pretty much something made for long-term Tekken fans, full of references that true fans of the series and its characters will enjoy throughout its runtime length. As I said, I won't spoil anything, but I have to say this story mode is probably one of the best, if not the best story modes I have ever played in a fighting game. You can really feel the budget in this product with some of the hypest moments you can possibly create in a fighting game, period. This mode alone will seal the deal for some of you for sure. Tekken 8's gameplay brings the game a fresh coat of paint that have even veteran players trying to wrap their heads around the new systems and character changes. Strings have been changed around, new ones have been added for characters, and the new system of the game leans towards and rewards a more aggressive playstyle this time around, with additions to the heat engagers that enforces free mix-ups, and the heat smashers or heat dashes to enforce additional mix-ups on block. Heat mode also allows for characters to either unlock certain new moves or enhance previous existing attacks, giving them new properties altogether. Also, while your heat is activated, your attacks deal chip damage to your opponent, and while you're on the offensive, you can regain lost life in the form of Gray Life Regen. Infinite stages are no longer a thing, and while some stages are pretty big, many stages include hazards to make heavy defensive play devastating when your back is against the wall. Everything that this game has included has led to a more exciting Tekken in viewership and, in my opinion, to play. At higher levels of play, of course, you will still see the neutral games that players either come to love or hate, but it's the in-betweens of Tekken 8 that makes it so special. Now, talking about Arcade Quest mode. Arcade Quest mode is Tekken 8's new approach to teaching players how to play the game, essentially acting as the game's main tutorial mode. Within this Arcade Quest, you'll be able to take your avatar on an Arcade Quest journey to go from new player to world-class player. It's a unique balanced way to not only teach players about the game, but to also have them enjoy the experience by projecting themselves into the world of Tekken, make you feel like you are a part of the classic arcade era. The best thing about this is you can do this journey with a character of your choosing. Through the help of your arcade mentor Max, you will learn recommended moves, and combos will also teach you how to use the systems of Tekken 8 and the basics of Tekken in general. Doing this mode will also unlock the Super Ghost Battle, which is another way to unlock things for character customizations, along with creating the ultimate training partner. Now, talking about Ghost Battles themselves, how do I even begin to explain this? This is a feature that allows you to train an AI version of yourself that will gradually learn your habits, combos, and punishes as you play matches against them. Not only this, but the game actively learns how you play through other modes of the game, like online play. This essentially means that you can create an AI that knows how to play like you, so you can see your strengths and weaknesses while also being around the same level as you. And you can download other people's ghosts because, once again, it learns from your online experiences, and you can fight them too. Want to fight the Tekken World Tour champion Arslan Ash, but he lives too far or don't know if you have the skill to hang with them? No problem, download their ghosts and get a taste of how they play. The only downside to this feature I can see at the moment is that the ghost seems to learn better when you are the one teaching it personally rather than learning from your online experiences, but it's a very unique and creative feature nonetheless. Now, before we even talk about the online experience, I have to get a bit nerdy and sweaty here and talk about how good the training room and replay features in this game actually are, because holy hell, they went far and beyond in making this the most accessible Tekken can be without stripping the game down. First off, the move list is way more organized than it has been. You have a section for your main techniques that's basically is a quick guide to learn about some effective techniques with your character, like a few heat smashes, some mix-ups or counter hit options, and a few combos for some of the said options. It's a really small and concise list for people who just want to jump in and learn a few things. However, in the full move list tab, the developers decided to organize the move list within sections, which is so much easier to understand compared to Tekken 7's. Now, you have a section for your heat system moves, your normal moves, your stance moves, and your throws. This makes finding exactly what you're looking for so much easier. Not to mention, the use of notes on certain moves helped the developers take out extra moves on the move list that were basically just cancels. Now the notes will tell you just that without making the move list appear longer than it needs to be. But that's not all, because this training room also features a save state feature, which isn't new to fighting games, but a much welcome feature to say the least. Want to practice what to do after a wall or floor break after you done use resources such as a tailspin, aka tornado in Tekken 8? No problem, make a save state right after the floor or wall break to see what you can do right afterwards. It's a really handy feature that just saves time and make learning so much easier. Speaking of making things easier, the developers have further enhanced the punishment training from Tekken 7, has added this feature for within the training room itself. Now you can practice against specific techniques in a hard or normal mode setting to get used to dealing with certain main tools of certain characters. Now, I could gush about how good Tekken's training room is all day, but the real prize here is the replay takeover feature. First off, replays in Tekken 8 have a rewind feature, which, thank you so much for this. I don't know why many fighting games don't do this, but besides this, the game actively teaches you how you can punish or avoid something. From this new gift of knowledge, we can rewind to the exact point in which we were told what we can do and practice it right then and there in the middle of the replay. I mean, this is just such a remarkable feature to have in a fighting game like Tekken, known for its crazy knowledge checks and plethora of strings to remember for characters. With all this combined, learning in Tekken 8 has never been more motivating and easier to do. And lastly, talking about the online experience of Tekken 8, because I mean, do I really need to explain Tekken Ball to you all? It's Tekken style volleyball, it's wacky, it's fun, it's chaotic. So the online experience for Tekken 8 is pretty good. I mean, all things considered, it's definitely better than Tekken 7's. We have something along the lines of rollback because you know Tekken equals 3, but having crossplay is both a blessing and a curse. Tekken 8 is surely the first fully next-gen fighting game, and for good reasons. I mean, this game has insane quality all over the place, and we've seen what happens when you try to put quality on something like the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, it's not pretty. But with this comes the issue of some PC players just not having the right specs to really have the performance to run Tekken 8. This makes a bit of an issue here, as not only can you not trust Wi-Fi connections, but you can't even trust wired connections anymore. There have been several matches I have played where the wire connection player PC stability indicator is lighting up like a Christmas tree. Besides this, the online experience is pretty good, and majority of my matches, even with some EU players I have tried to play with, have been pretty playable. The lobbies are nice, they have a great aesthetic, and even tell you when a player might be a bit stronger than you before you hop on the arcade cab. So overall, is Tekken 8 worth it? Is it worth all the hype and praise that the title has been getting for its first week? And with me playing hours and hours since the game has released, I can confidently say yes. Yes, it is. Despite a few of the online issues you may face, for a first iteration of a fully next-gen modern fighting game, the product we have gotten here is one of the best on the market, and it will only get better over time. And as the years go by, and we look at this vanilla version of the game, we can all say that Tekken 8 is truly some good-ass Tekken.